This is the Barr Street trailhead at the Little Big Econ State Forest, and it's famous for the Little Big Econ River. It's one of the most beautiful rivers in Central Florida. I think the second largest outside of the St. Johns River. So join us on this hike to see the river and the other scenic sights we see.
And we are ready to begin our hike. Take a quick look at the map, see where we're going. And we're going to be following from here along the river and then up and then back through the woods. And that'll be our hike. We've entered the trail and it is very densely forested immediately with saw palmetto, sable palms, oak trees, and other leafy trees. And we're going to make our way out to the Econlockhatchee River. It's one of the most beautiful rivers in Florida. And we might see some wildlife along the way. I'm hoping to see deer or a hog or a tortoise, maybe some wild turkey, but not snakes. I wouldn't mind seeing alligators, as long as they're not too big. And we'll hike on and see how this goes. So we're actually following the blue marked trail at this time. And it is cool here in the shady areas. This is where the trail branches off, and we will take the Kolokee trail, the white trail, and we're gonna cross a bridge, first of many bridges I anticipate. And a little view of the stream next to us. Okay, I had actually seen a tortoise, but believe it or not, it was too fast getting across the path for me to capture it on video. So we're going to take the shady route to the river. We did have some very heavy rains 2 days ago, so some of this trail could be flooded. And this section of the stream right here is, but it's very tiny. I can just jump across. And a nice view of the stream cutting through some tiny palm hammocks. And there are some wildflowers on the right side of the trail right here. Not that many. Here's a good view. I cannot identify what these wildflowers are. It appears I'm on the orange trail and it's splintered off again, but I'm virtually certain that this will intersect with the river. And this is more densely forested again, and there's lots of oak trees here. And I'll just give a perspective of the oaks above me. It's a nice canopy. And a little bit more wildflowers, and they're very small amounts. This is called Partridge Pea. And then a little bit further up, and there's two here. This is Leavenworth tickseed. It's early May. These might be in more abundance as the month goes on. Okay, to my right, I'm seeing a sweet gum tree. I'll get a little bit closer. Show the leaves, and these seem to grow near swamps a lot, and I do see some excess water behind it. And more sweet gum trees on both sides of the road. And this is a couple of mature sweet gum trees right here. And a young sweet gum right here. And a little bit more of the Partridge Pea. And some more Leavenworth tickseed, this time on the left side of the trail. Some strands there. A little bit more here. Okay, see a monarch butterfly. And passing through the saw palmettos and sable palms, we're coming across to another footbridge. And we're going to follow this across. Small stream. And we're heading uphill a little bit, which is unusual in Florida. In fact, there's a steep bank about 15 feet to the left of me where the stream is, but it's very a lot of vegetation. It's hard to see. And continuing uphill at this juncture, and we're parallel to the stream on our left, and I'll try to get a better vantage point of it up ahead. Okay, we finally see the river. All right, outstanding. That's a beautiful river. I am going to climb down at this point and get to the banks. And we made it down the steep embankment to the shores of the Econlockhatchee River. And it is a beautiful river. I'll get a little bit closer, see the view downstream. And I believe this is the largest river that feeds into the St. Johns River. And it's one of the reasons that this makes this hike probably the nicest in Central Florida. Just beautiful. Looking directly across the river, you see how wide it is. I would estimate it, it's probably at least 50 feet across. Continuing once again through some dense habitat. Sable palms and oak seems to be the primary trees around here. Really nice live oak in front of us. We'll just take a look at that. And the branches spread out all the way down near the banks of the river, which is to our left. And one more view of the river. Not as steep as last time. And this one I will walk down with holding the camera. Ah, very beautiful. And the river appears to have split off at this point to two branches. And this vantage is a little bit higher up where the river splits. And you can see the base of the fallen tree. So we doubled back from the trail that headed south towards the river, and now we're going to head east towards the river. And right away we have a wide open area, and to my left is a lot of pine. And very quickly into this hike we see the river. Now, when I reached that crossroads, at first there was a couple walking a dog, and I asked them which was the closer way to the river. And they told me the other way, the south way was. But it took me 20 minutes, at least like a mile, to see the river. But this took me less than 2 minutes. In fact, where I was speaking to him, you could actually see the river. And he led me on the wrong track, so not cool. But I wanted to see both hikes anyway, so it's a win-win situation. I'm continuing south, right next to the river, but the sawpell meadow obscures my view, but when I do see a good vantage point, I will stop. You can kind of make out the river right and below me. And here's a good view right here. Stand back a little bit from the ledge. It's very steep. I don't think anybody's willing to go down this. It's at least 20 feet drop. But very beautiful. I was able to scale down the bluff and get a view closer to the riverbank. And it's just it's a really nice hike. It's along the river, and you can see the river so far most of the way. And now the trail has actually moved away from the river. We're passing under a live oak. At various times the trail splinters off to give you a view of the river. And we're just going to take this vantage point from here. We've come upon another small bridge crossing over one of the tributary streams. I'll take a little bit of a peek at the stream. It actually wraps around to the right, but it's a high bank and very dense in here. Okay, so this is a bend in the stream actually. Didn't notice that at first. And it wraps around and goes down the other way. And the fallen palm, beyond it is a stream that feeds into the river. I'm going to try to take a closer look here. I'm going to climb down. And you can see the stream that's slowly moving towards me, very brackish water. And a sandy bottom here. And let's walk down towards underneath these fallen palms and down to the river. Unless it gets too muddy. Okay, so we're following the stream. And I don't know where this stream originates from, if it's spring fed or if it's something else. But here's where the stream meets the river, and beautiful view looking down the river from here. Okay, and this is interesting. We have a tiny southern magnolia here. Good view of the leaves. And then behind it, it's a larger southern magnolia, and I'll zero in. That's the top part of that, and it's overshadowed by oaks and actually palms around it. And taking another short trail takes us to the river again. And I decided to go down to the bank again. It's a nice view, and you can see the Spanish moss hanging from the live oak. Alright, and this is a new twist. We run into what looks like a patch of eastern red cedar. And so we will just enjoy this view. I'll give you a close-up view of the branches. Nothing fancy, but not used to seeing this. And some various changes in elevation throughout the trail. And another magnolia tree. Okay, this is an interesting plant here. It's called the coral bean. And I've never really seen one hiking before. Some little patches of Leavenworth tick seed right above the banks of the river. This is a very small patch of blackjack. And I'll zoom in on that a little bit. And here's another coral bean right next to a fern, or growing out of a fern, sharing the same space. And a larger patch of Leavenworth tick seed. Right now, I'm passing through a grove of magnolias. So a couple here. And continuing on, there's more right here above me. To my side, and get a nice view of the leaves. And more, so quite a few magnolia trees. And then we have another bluff. And again, you can see a steep embankment. In fact, it's straight down. A little bit of a path that ends right here. If I took another step, I'd be landing in the river. But you got the magnolias hanging over the river, which I've never seen a magnolia hanging over a river before, so that's a nice view. And there's a really nice overlook right here. In fact, this is as far as I am going to go. But outstanding trail, the Kolokee Trail Loop. That concludes our tour in the little Econ State Forest. If you enjoyed this hike with us, then please click like and subscribe, and we'll see you on our next adventure.